Welcome, dreamer. You've arrived in a quiet space where the world slows down, where questions float as gently as dust in golden sunlight. Here, in the bedtime sleep, we drift into wonder with the hush of curiosity wrapped in comfort. And tonight, we're going to time travel without moving at all. Strange? Perhaps. But you've already done it. Maybe even today. So close your eyes now, let go of today's noise, and listen. Listen inward. There it is. A soft rhythm pulsing beneath your ribs, your heartbeat. Like a hidden clock that ticks for no one else. Not a machine, not a metronome, not a wristwatch powered by quartz or spring. But it is, in its own way, a timekeeper. Beating steady and slow, it marks the pace of your life, one pulse at a time. If you were still, truly still, you might think everything else stops with you. But your body is a small world of movement. Your chest rises and falls. Blood spins through branching rivers inside you. Cells divide. Neurons spark. Even as you lie in the dark, even as you drift into sleep, your body hums with motion. This, too, is time. Not measured by calendars or alarm clocks, but by the unfolding of moments inside you. Your body knows time not through numbers, but through rhythm. Yet here is the strange truth. This clock in your chest, the one that never stops, does not always agree with the clocks on the wall. And that's where our journey begins. Imagine this. Two people, two clocks, two lives side by side. One stays home, the other boards a plane. They both carry wristwatches, both feel their hearts ticking the same when they wave goodbye. But when they meet again, after just a short trip, something small, almost unnoticeable, has changed. One heart is just slightly younger. This is not a story of science fiction. This is the curious nature of time itself. And to understand it, we must return to the beginning, to the idea that time is not as fixed as it seems. You felt this, haven't you? The days that stretch like ocean horizons, endless and slow, and others that vanish in a blink. But what if those feelings weren't only emotional? What if time itself really moves differently in different places? The first clues came not from dreams, but from trains. In the early 1900s, a quiet mind walked among the ticking clocks of a Swiss patent office. Albert Einstein, a man who imagined light bouncing between mirrors on a moving train. And in that thought, he realized something no one had seen before. That time is not absolute. It changes depending on how fast you move. Think about that. The faster something moves, the slower time flows for it. Not as an illusion, but as reality. And so, your heart, when you are on a plane slicing through the sky at hundreds of miles per hour, beats in a world where time is flowing just a tiny bit slower than it does for the loved ones waiting for you back home. Of course, the difference is small, barely measurable. A few nanoseconds gained. But those nanoseconds are real. They are moments added to your life. Just by soaring through the clouds. You are a time traveler, not by choice, but by physics. And your heartbeat is your companion on the journey. It's strange, isn't it? To think that something so universal, time, could be flexible, malleable even, like dough in the hands of speed. But your body never notices. It goes on ticking, breathing, living, because to you, your time feels the same. Always. This is called proper time. Your time, the one your body knows, the one it carries with it. No matter where you go or how fast you move, to your heart, the seconds between beats never change. To your brain, a thought takes as long as it always has. You never feel stretched or squeezed. You feel normal. But to someone else, watching from another frame, another speed, your normal becomes strange. Now, imagine your heart is a lantern glowing softly in the dark. Each beat sends a flicker of light. As you walk, as you run, as you fly, the lantern moves, and the light takes longer to reach certain places. This is how scientists came to understand time dilation. Through light, through speed, through imagining the movement of beams in empty space. And though it's invisible, it's not fantasy. Every GPS satellite circling the Earth uses this very idea to correct its clocks, because they tick faster in orbit than they do on the ground. Not by malfunction, but because of physics. So when your map tells you to turn left in 100 meters, you're not just using satellites. You're trusting Einstein. You're trusting time dilation. And though the satellites are just machines, you are not. Your heartbeat is not made of metal or circuits. It is muscle, memory, emotion, and yet it obeys the same laws. The same slow bending of seconds as you glide over clouds and continents. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If time can stretch, can life stretch too? Can a moment with someone you love be longer? If you're traveling through time just a little differently, maybe not in a way we feel, but in a way that matters all the same. And now, as you lie still, your body quiet, your breath a soft tide, your clock ticks on, slow and sure. But it knows something you don't. It knows you have traveled. It knows your time is your own. And now, as you rest, perhaps your body wonders if your heartbeat can keep time differently when you fly. What about the clocks above the clouds? The ones that ride through the sky every day? And that is where we'll float next. You are seated, a window beside you, a belt around your waist, and beneath your feet, a world slowly shrinking. The soft rumble of engines settles into a lullaby. You look down at the curve of Earth, clouds layered like folded silk, and somewhere far below, the ground that once held your shadow. You are flying, but in more ways than one. Up here, speed is not just distance over time. It is time's very sculptor. Let yourself drift now, back into memory. Back to the cabin where the air is dry and cold, where the hum of the plane becomes the song of the sky. You're 35,000 feet above everything you know. And though your body doesn't feel any different, your time has begun to shift. Just a little, like a whisper behind the second hand of a clock. Your seconds are stretching, ever so slightly. Not enough for your eyes to see, not enough for your skin to feel. But the universe knows. The laws of physics are at work. This is the beginning of time dilation. Einstein taught us. The faster you go, the slower your time flows, relative to someone standing still. So, as you race eastward in a pressurized shell of steel, you are aging just a fraction slower than the people waiting at the gate you left behind. The effect is small, microscopic, but it is not imaginary. It is real. It's been measured, proven. Atomic clocks, the most precise instruments ever made, have been placed on jets, on satellites, on astronauts, and when they return, they bring back more than data. They bring back time, slightly stretched. You might wonder, how much younger do you become? Not minutes, not even full seconds, but billionths of a second. Still, those billions belong to you. You have, in truth, traveled into your own future. Just a tiny step ahead of someone who stayed on the ground. And isn't that a gentle marvel? That while you sipped orange juice at 600 miles an hour, your time was doing something peculiar. It was lengthening itself, opening its palms. What a strange kindness. To gain time not by rushing, but simply by riding through the sky. It's almost poetic. You lose time zones, but you gain time itself. And the plane, this silver arrow slicing through space, becomes a soft vessel for slipping into stretched seconds. But this isn't science fiction. This is the world as it is, only seen with clearer eyes. GPS satellites prove it every day, hovering high above us. They move quickly, much faster than your plane. And without correction, their clocks would fall out of sync with Earth by 7 microseconds each day. That might sound like nothing, but in GPS terms, it could send your location off by miles. So their time is adjusted, balanced, corrected for relativity, because time and motion becomes fluid. Now come back to your seat. The air feels thinner. Your ears might still pop, but beneath the engine noise and blinking lights, you are moving through something delicate and invisible. A river of time that bends around your speed. If someone you love sat below on Earth, watching your flight, they would live a few trillionths of a second more than you do. They would blink, and you'd blink, and yet they'd be ahead. But to you, everything feels the same. This is the quiet magic of relativity. It doesn't distort your senses. It doesn't stretch your bones or make your heart skip. It lets you be normal, while gently curling time around you. Think of it like this. You are in a boat, floating downstream. A friend stands still on the riverbank. To you, your paddle moves at its usual pace. To them, it appears to glide. Same paddle, same boat. Different flow. In this difference, as subtle as the wind brushing your tray table, is the heartbeat of time dilation. But here's a softer thought. If a plane can make you younger, even by billionths of a second, what does that say about speed itself? Does motion free us? Does it bend reality? Not to break it, but to remind us that nothing is quite as fixed as it seems? The clouds out your window float slow and silent. The wing flexes in the wind. Your seat reclines. A book rests in your lap. And though nothing in your body feels altered, your time is already different than it was before takeoff. You are not just a passenger in the sky. You are a passenger in time. And this gentle bending of seconds invites a deeper question. If a plane can stretch time, what about two people, identical, side by side, who choose two different paths, one who stays and one who flies? That, dear dreamer, is a story we'll explore next. Imagine this. You were born at the same moment as someone else. A twin. Same breath. Same heartbeat. Same sunlight on your cheeks. Same lullabies whispered at night. For years, you grow together, running through the same playgrounds, blowing out birthday candles in unison, arguing about who's older by a minute. But now, you've taken a journey. You've flown, fast, high and far, while your twin stayed grounded, feet planted in the familiar rhythm of Earth. And when you return, your faces are nearly the same. But if we ask time, not your clock, not your phone, but the time inside your cells, the time beating in your veins, it tells a slightly different story. You are, by the faintest whisper of seconds, younger. This is the twin paradox. A thought experiment, yes, but built on real, measurable science. Not a fantasy, but a way of holding up a mirror to time. Let's walk through it gently. Two twins. One stays home. One boards a spacecraft. Or, in your softer version of the story, a long-haul plane crossing the curvature of the Earth. Both begin with synchronized watches, matching pulses, shared memories. But motion bends time. And for the twin who moves faster, time flows more slowly. Even though each twin feels normal, eats, sleeps, laughs, cries, their clocks drift apart. When they reunite, one has aged just slightly less. And here's the marvel. They didn't feel it. The flying twin didn't experience any delay. To them, every moment felt just as long, just as full, just as real. But in comparison, the twin who stayed behind lived just a little more life. This isn't an illusion. It's not metaphor. It is the way the universe handles motion and time, woven into the very fabric of space. Now imagine, you're back home. Your twin greets you at the airport. You hug. You smile. You look into a face so familiar it feels like home itself. But hidden in your DNA, in the structure of your atoms, in the whisper of your cells, is a tiny difference. A fraction of a second that didn't pass the same for both of you. You were together, but you traveled different roads through space-time, like two boats drifting on a current. One caught in a slower flow. Same water, but one arrives just a touch later. Not by fault, but by physics. This experiment, often imagined with spaceships and stars, was tested right here on Earth. In 1971, scientists flew atomic clocks on commercial airplanes, eastward and westward around the globe. When they returned, the clocks were compared with those that stayed behind. And yes, there was a measurable difference. Just as Einstein predicted, it wasn't a science fiction twist, but a truth. And now, let's bring that back to you. You may not have a twin. You may not orbit the Earth or leap between galaxies. But each time you move, each journey you take, time, ever so gently, whispers differently to you. And that idea, that your lived time is personal, unique, shaped by your motion, is strangely comforting, because it means you are more than just a passenger in life. You are a traveler through time, even when you're not trying to be. Your path through space-time is singular. No one else moves quite like you. No one else lives time exactly as you do. And while the differences are tiny, they're enough to tell us this. Time is not a rigid ruler. It is more like a melody, played differently depending on your steps. Now close your eyes and imagine. Two twins. One floats in a satellite. The other walks barefoot through a field of tall grass. The same sun touches them both. But somewhere in the background, one melody plays just a little more slowly. And isn't that beautiful? That even twins, so alike, can hold slightly different versions of time inside them? That even though we live together, we each carry a personal clock, and none tick quite the same. So next time you watch someone walk away, or see a plane trail across the evening sky, remember this. They are moving through time in a way that only they can. And when they return, they bring with them a story that even they cannot hear. A tale told by the seconds themselves. And that brings us softly to a deeper layer of this mystery. If motion can stretch time, what is motion really? And how can speed alone be powerful enough to reshape time itself? That is where we'll gently wander next. Let your body grow even softer now. Let your breathing slow, like waves touching a quiet shore. We're about to follow time into motion, but we won't rush. We'll drift, because speed, though it sounds like something fast, can be felt gently. It's not just velocity on a dashboard. It's the invisible sculptor, shaping how time curls around you. You've felt speed in your bones, on trains that hum beneath your seat, in elevators that rise with a hum through tall buildings, in planes that push you through clouds, in the wind pressing against your car window as you coast along a highway. But what you haven't felt, what no human has ever directly felt, is how speed bends time. And yet it does. Remember your twin? You flew, they stayed. You both carried clocks. But the one in motion ticked a little more slowly. Why? It begins with a simple truth. Time and space are not separate things. They are threads woven together in one vast fabric. Space-time. And when you move through space, you shift your place in time as well. Picture it this way. You are walking across a giant sheet of silk, stretching far beyond the eye can see. If you step gently, The sheep barely moves. But the faster you run, the more you tug and twist it beneath your feet. This is what motion does to space-time. It pulls. It folds. It curves the very ticking of your personal clock. And here's the wonder. You don't need to imagine this. You live it. Every time you use a GPS device, on your phone, in your car, you are depending on time's flexibility. Let's rise now, not just above the clouds, but beyond the sky. Orbiting Earth are satellites, tiny machines circling at thousands of miles per hour. They are part of the GPS system, and they carry atomic clocks so precise they can lose less than a second in millions of years. But something peculiar happens up there. Their speed causes their clocks to tick slightly slower. Yet, at the same time, being farther from Earth's gravity actually makes time run faster. It's a delicate dance of motion and mass. So scientists must constantly adjust the clocks in those satellites. Because if they didn't, if they ignored time dilation, your location on a map could be off by miles. Imagine trying to find your way home, only to end up on the wrong street, because a satellite forgot how time bends. And so, high above you, as you sleep, as you dream, a network of orbiting clocks keeps stretching and compressing time, just to help you find your way. Speed does that. Motion does that. Not just on grand scales, but even in the smallest measurements. If you could ride a beam of light, you would feel no time at all. Light moves at the cosmic speed limit. And for light itself, there is no now or later, no ticking, just instant presence. It's strange, isn't it, that as you move faster and faster, you don't just cover more ground. You change your relationship with time. If you could run fast enough, time would slow so much that hours would become minutes, days would become seconds, and yet, to you, everything would feel the same. That's the mystery. Your internal clock doesn't change its rhythm. Your heart still beats. Your breath still flows. Your thoughts still stretch across the canvas of your mind. But compared to someone standing still, you are suspended in time. Think of it like music. Imagine two songs, played at slightly different tempos. You tap your foot to one, your friend to the other. You both feel normal. You both feel rhythm. But step back far enough, and you realize you are moving through time in different ways. That is what speed does. It doesn't make your life faster or slower in feeling. It simply reweaves your thread in the fabric of time. Now, let's return to Earth. You're walking through a city street, sunlight catching the glass of tall buildings, people moving in all directions, and you realize everyone is moving at different speeds. Some rush, some stroll, some pause, and all of them, in tiny, almost invisible ways, are experiencing time slightly differently. Not enough to notice, not enough to age apart, but enough to remind us that time is not a flat road, but a living path, one shaped by how fast you travel and how deeply you notice. Speed, it turns out, is not just for racers and rockets. It's a quiet artist, bending hours, sculpting days, softly etching years. And perhaps this brings us to an even gentler question. If motion alone can bend time, what about gravity? Can the weight of the world slow the clock as well? That is where we'll gently go next. You are still, lying soft in your bed, tucked gently into Earth's familiar gravity. You don't float. You don't drift. You are held, cradled. And yet, this gentle pull has been shaping your time since the moment you were born. Gravity is invisible, but you feel it with every step. It holds you to the earth, presses your body softly into the mattress beneath you. But did you know? It also holds onto your time, not like a thief, more like a storyteller, adding length to some lines and shortening others. You've heard how speed slows time, but so does weight. Not physical weight, not pounds or kilograms, but gravity, the force that keeps planets in orbit, moons dancing around their worlds, and tides pulled toward the sky. Let's start with something small. Two people, just like you. One lives in the mountains. One lives by the sea. They both wake with the sun, walk through their days, dream beneath the stars. But the one in the mountains, a little farther from Earth's core, is experiencing time just a tiny bit faster. Their clock ticks ahead. Not enough to feel, not enough to see, but it's there. And the one by the sea, they are closer to Earth's gravity. So time moves ever so slightly slower. The Earth is not just spinning. It is pulling, always pulling. And the closer you are to its center, the stronger the pull, and the slower the time. It's like syrup in a bottle. The closer you are to the bottom, the thicker it flows. This isn't imagination. It's measured science. In 2010, physicists placed two atomic clocks just 1 foot apart, one slightly higher than the other. And yes, the higher one ticked faster, a single foot, and time was different. So what does this mean for you? It means you are already living in a world where time flows at different rates, from place to place. A world where mountains whisper time faster than valleys, where satellites live in quicker seconds than cities do. And still, your heart knows no difference. It beats in rhythm with your body, with your breath, with your life, unaware that gravity is gently stretching the seconds around it. Einstein called this gravitational time dilation. He imagined clocks near black holes, those cosmic monsters where gravity becomes so strong that time almost stops. But you don't need to fall into a black hole to feel gravity's hand on time. You feel it right now, as you lie there, being pulled softly toward the Earth's center. Not enough to notice, not enough to change your dreams, but enough to matter. Let's imagine this differently. Picture a trampoline. Stretch it tight. Now place a heavy ball in the center. The fabric dips, curves. This is what gravity does to space-time. It bends it, shapes it, pulls it into curves where time flows more slowly. And you, dear listener, are sitting inside one of those curves. The Earth, that vast and ancient body beneath you, bends time all around it. So even standing still, you are part of a gentle distortion, a quiet stretching of time's fabric. And the higher you climb, the more time loosens its grip. An astronaut on the moon, they would age just a touch faster than you. A person at sea level, just a shade slower. So now you know, time is not just about clocks. It's about position, about where you stand in the pull of gravity's hands. Your location shapes your experience of time, as much as your motion. You, lying still, are moving through curved time. Every breath is shaped by where Earth holds you. Every blink dances along a stretched second. And what a beautiful idea that is. Because it means that time is not harsh, not a ticking tyrant. It's a river, yes, but it bends around mountains, flows slowly through valleys, and wraps itself around the curves of space. So, you're not just passing through time. Time is passing around you. Now imagine the center of Earth, down deep where no sunlight reaches, where pressure and heat melt rock into molten seas. Time there moves, slower still, and on the surface, where you sleep beneath the stars, time glides a little faster. Two places on the same planet, two different flows of time, and yet life moves on, untroubled, unaware. So maybe time is not something we hold, but something that holds us. And gravity is not just a force, but a gentle reminder that even the deepest stillness is touched by something vast and invisible. So tonight, as you rest in your bed, held by the weight of Earth's embrace. Remember this. Your time, your very heartbeat, is shaped by the gravity of the world you walk on. You are not just part of Earth. You are part of its curved, living time. And now, perhaps, you're wondering something softly. If gravity can stretch time, and speed can slow it, what happens when both act together? What happens when time is not just warped, but woven into the shape of the universe itself? That, dear dreamer, is where we'll gently drift next. Close your eyes a little deeper. Feel yourself resting, not just in a bed, but in something wider, quieter, slower. You are not lying on time. You are lying within it. And time is not a straight road. It is a river. Now imagine this. You are a small, smooth pebble, resting in the stream bed. The water flows gently around you, curling in tiny eddies, whispering past without a sound. To the pebble, the river is everything. It defines direction. It defines pace. But the river is not constant. Its current changes depending on where the pebble lies. In deep parts, the water rushes. In the shallows, it lingers. This is how time flows. Faster in some places, slower in others, depending on the shape of space-time around it. And that pebble, dreamer, is you. All around you, time flows. Through your body, through the air, through the earth, and into the stars. And your position, your stillness, your motion, changes how that river reaches you. Einstein didn't just believe time could stretch. He believed space and time were one and the same. Not separate rulers and clocks, but a single fabric, space-time. To understand this, imagine again that wide, stretched silk sheet. Now place a bowling ball in the middle. The fabric dips. Now roll a marble nearby, and watch how its path curves, not because of an invisible string, but because the fabric itself is no longer flat. This is gravity. This is space-time curved by mass. Planets don't orbit because they are pulled by strings. They orbit because the sun bends the fabric around it, and the planets move along those curves. Now replace marbles with moments. Replace balls with stars. Replace that fabric with time itself. This is the poetic vision Einstein gave us. Not a ticking universe, but a flowing one. Not rigid, but rippling. And you, your body, your breath, your thoughts, are all caught gently in that flow. Where you sit in the universe shapes the current around you. If you stand near a massive object, like Earth, like a star, the river slows. Far from mass, the river flows faster. Motion adds another layer. If you move quickly across the current, you change how it reaches you. It's as though the river changes its pace, depending on your path, and yet, you feel no difference. This is the comfort and the mystery. You live within this flow, and never feel it. Your heartbeat stays steady. Your breath remains calm. You experience your life in perfect rhythm, even if the river rushes around you differently from someone else. Think of the river now not just in space, but in your life. There were days that rushed past, when hours slipped through your fingers like water, and others that lingered, stretching endlessly into the quiet. You felt that flow. You felt how time changes shape. Maybe it's not only physics. Maybe time, like water, is something you feel before you understand. Now let's return to the sky for a moment. Imagine an astronaut floating near a massive planet, so large it bends time into a bowl. Below them, a friend stands on the planet's surface. To the friend, the seconds stretch, held by gravity's grip. To the astronaut, time moves faster. Years pass differently for each. Though they began together, the river flows slower in deep valleys of gravity, and quicker in the open sky. So now, think of yourself again as the pebble, lying still, The current of time brushing past your skin, carving your life one heartbeat at a time. You are part of the river, but you are also shaped by it. And you are not alone. Every star, every planet, every bird, every wave, every pebble, and every person rests somewhere in this great flowing stream, each with their own current, each with their own pace. And still, we share the same river. You may never feel the difference in seconds. You may never watch time stretch like taffy between mountain tops and sea beds. But deep down, your body knows the current. It moves with it. It flows with it. It dances to its rhythm. And maybe, just maybe, this is what it means to live. Not to fight the river, not to race it, but to float gently within it. To drift through its changing tides and find peace in its curves. Now, dear dreamer, before you drift completely, ask yourself softly, if space-time is a river, can there be whirlpools? Places where time folds inward, where seconds stretch endlessly, and where falling in might mean falling through time itself. That is where we'll gently wander next. Above the clouds, there is no wind, no birdsong, no rustle of trees, only silence, thick, pure, and vast. You are floating now, curled gently in a suit built not for comfort, but for survival. A spacesuit, a cocoon between your breath and the cold, breathless void. And in this stillness, you feel something unexpected. Time feels thin, not because your watch runs faster, not because you float, but because up here, the river of time no longer flows the same way it did on Earth. It bends softly, ever so slightly, and your body drifts through it differently now. Let your mind settle into the suit. Feel the press of layers against your skin, the quiet hiss of oxygen, the insulation separating your warmth from the chill of the universe. This is no longer Earth time. You are orbiting, moving at nearly 17,000 miles per hour, circling Earth once every 90 minutes. And because of this speed, your seconds are slowing, barely, invisibly, but truly. This is the lived reality of time dilation in space. Not a theory, not an experiment, but a daily rhythm for those who rise above the sky. On the International Space Station, astronauts live in this strange, suspended rhythm. Their bodies experience fewer nanoseconds than the ones they left behind. They age slower, infinitesimally, but measurably. And still, their hearts beat the same. Their sleep follows the same dreams. They laugh at the same jokes sent from Earth. Time, to them, feels familiar. But mathematically, they are already drifting into a future that passes more slowly. Now breathe slowly. Imagine the curve of Earth beneath you. Clouds swirling over oceans. Continents turning beneath the stars. From this height, time is not just an idea. It's a force that shifts beneath your orbit. You see a sunrise every 90 minutes. You watch the horizon bend and change. You live in cycles that stretch and fold upon themselves. And still, your body holds to its rhythm. This is proper time, your own time, the one that never betrays you. No matter how the universe flexes, your spacesuit cannot protect you from time, but it helps you feel safe while it flows around you. Astronauts must adjust to the strange dance of seconds, to days that arrive and vanish in the blink of a planet's rotation. And yet, they remain tethered to home, to clocks, to calendars waiting on Earth. One famous mission, Scott Kelly's year in space, measured this precisely. His twin, Mark, stayed on Earth. When Scott returned from 340 days in orbit, he had aged just slightly less. A few milliseconds, a blink that never landed. But those milliseconds mattered, not because they made a difference in life, but because they proved, again, that time can bend quietly in motion. And what's more, your biology knows it. Cells replicate, telomeres shift, tiny processes move in time's current, and space changes that current. In orbit, your body lives differently, and when you return, you bring the imprint of a slightly different world, a world where time did not pass quite the same. So here's a quiet truth. Every astronaut is a time traveler, not in science fiction, not in fantasy, but in fact. And you? You are too. Because even as you lie still, your planet spins, your cells divide, your seconds stretch just enough to matter. You do not need a rocket to feel it. Only awareness. Only breath. Now return to the suit. Imagine looking down at Earth. Its lights glowing softly in the night. Oceans pulsing like lungs. You are far above it, but still part of its song. And yet, as you drift, your seconds are no longer Earth's. They are yours. Not owned, not possessed, but shaped by your path. And this gentle shift in time tells you something quiet but powerful. You are not bound to a single rhythm. You are not trapped in uniformity. Even the most constant force, time, will flex to your journey. You are a traveler, a drifting pebble in a current that bends. With gravity, with speed, with space. And here in the suit, you are both protected and exposed. Safe from the void, but riding a river that cannot be seen. When you return to Earth, you'll be welcomed by gravity, by warmth, by familiar seconds. But something soft will remain. You'll know that time isn't still, that it isn't equal, that it is personal, and that you have moved through it in a way no one else ever has. So now, as your body floats in this imagined suit, let yourself ask, if orbit can slow time, what about something even stranger? What happens at the very edge of time itself? At the place where not even light can escape? Yes, dreamer, we are ready to drift toward the edge of a black hole. Tonight, you drift not through clouds, but through darkness. Not the darkness of night, but a deeper kind. The kind that lives between stars, where light forgets its way home. Let your breath slow. Feel the vastness around you. Quiet, infinite, still. You are approaching a black hole, but don't be afraid. This is not a fall. It's a float. You are not being pulled. You are being invited to the edge of time itself. Black holes are born when stars die, when their light flickers out, and their mass collapses inward, folding space like paper, folding time like silk. What remains is not a thing, not a place, but a curve so steep, a silence so complete, that not even light can climb out. And yet, there is something to learn here, something to feel, because black holes do not destroy time. They reveal how strange it really is. Now imagine yourself floating closer. There is no sound, no color, only a distortion. Like the edge of a dream where everything bends. Around the black hole, space begins to stretch. And with it, time. This is what physicists call the event horizon. The edge of no return. To someone far away, watching you approach. Your time begins to slow. Your movements stretch out. Like a film unspooling in slow motion. You drift. You reach. You breathe. But to them, each motion takes longer and longer, until finally, you appear to freeze, suspended, unmoving. But from where you float, nothing feels different. You still blink, still think, still exist in your own time. It's everyone else, everything else, that begins to race ahead. This is the deepest time dilation, where gravity bends not just seconds, but meaning. Near the event horizon, The river of time no longer flows forward. It folds. It thickens. It drops inward. And once past that edge, no messages return. No stories. No clocks. What lies beyond is not just unknown. It is unknowable. But before you drift across that line, pause here at the brink, because this place, this silent, invisible border, teaches something gentle. That time is not a universal beat. It is not a steady drum echoing across galaxies. It is local, personal, shaped by where you are, how you move, what surrounds you. And here, surrounded by the curved hunger of gravity, your seconds stretch into hours for the universe around you. If you were to hover at the horizon, your loved ones back home would age without you. Years would pass, then decades, then centuries, but you would feel none of it, because to you, it's just another breath, just another blink. In a way, black holes are time machines. Not because they let you go back, but because they let you linger. They let you touch a moment that the universe moves past. And what could be more poetic than that? To exist in a place where time slows to a whisper, where the present stretches so wide, it becomes almost eternal. Astronomers have seen this. Not directly, black holes cannot be seen, but by their edges, their influence, their appetite for stars, their soft fingerprint on space-time. We've seen stars whip around invisible centers, their orbits curved, their time shifted. We've watched light bend, not just from gravity, but from the way time warps near these ancient holes. And now you, floating here, can feel that too. You are not falling. You are pausing. You are at the edge of time's collapse. But here's the wonder. Even here, your proper time remains. Your body still ticks along its own quiet metronome. You are not erased. You are not stretched. To you, time feels as soft and steady as the breath rising in your chest. And maybe that's the secret. Time is not just warped by gravity. It is protected by you, by your presence, by your awareness, by your place in the story. Even at the brink of a black hole, you are still you. You carry time with you. You are its vessel, its home. And now, let us step back. Let us drift away from this horizon, this invisible veil. Let the black hole fade behind us. Not with fear, but with reverence, because it has reminded us of something gentle. That time, like light, can bend and stretch, pause and vanish, and that even in places where the universe loses track of seconds, you can still feel the moment, the now, the stillness. As you float back toward starlight, you feel gravity loosen. You feel seconds return to their rhythm. You feel Earth calling you home. But perhaps now you see it differently. Time isn't one current. It's a tangle of streams, a shifting network of eddies and depths, and your path through it is yours alone. So now, dear dreamer, ask gently, if time can nearly stop near a black hole, could there be places where time runs backward? Where past and future change places? Where causality bends into a loop? That question will guide us toward the deepest mysteries yet. Time always seems to move one way, from before to after, from birth to breath, from sunrise to sleep. You drop a glass, it shatters, but never does the glass leap whole again from the floor. You exhale, and the air escapes, never rushing back to fill your lungs in perfect reverse. So we believe in time's arrow, that it points forward, that it never bends, never loops, never turns back. But tonight, let's slow that belief. Let's ask, does time truly have a direction? Or is that something we only feel, not something that is? You are lying still, wrapped in warmth, suspended in the now. And here, with no clocks ticking, no sun climbing, no deadlines pulling, you can start to feel that past and future are not so sharply divided. They are quieter here, closer. And in physics, time's arrow is not as strict as we imagine. The laws that govern the universe, gravity, electromagnetism, the behavior of particles, almost all work the same forward and backward. That is, if you filmed the universe in reverse, on the scale of atoms and stars, it would still make sense. There's no preferred direction, no built-in forward. So why do we remember the past, but not the future? Why do we age? Why do eggs break, but never unbreak? The answer, or at least the closest whisper of one, lies in something called entropy. Entropy is a measure of disorder, of how mixed up, how scattered, how random a system becomes. Imagine a tidy room. Books in place, pencils in a row, blankets folded. Now open the window. Let the wind blow. Entropy rises, papers scatter, socks drift, order dissolves. This is the natural drift of things. From order to disorder. From low entropy to high entropy. And it's this rise in entropy out, that gives us time's arrow. It tells us which direction is forward, not because the laws demand it, but because the universe started out surprisingly tidy. The Big Bang, our cosmic beginning, was a moment of stunning order, low entropy, a clean page, and ever since, the universe has been scattering, stars spreading, heat dispersing, memories building. That scattering is what we feel as time. It's why the future feels open, while the past feels written. It's why you can remember yesterday, but not tomorrow. But entropy is not a clock. It doesn't tick. It's a tendency, a mood, a slope down which everything gently slides. And sometimes, in the tiniest corners of the quantum world, entropy dances. Particles reverse. Processes flip. Arrows of time blur and disappear. And in some theoretical patches of the multiverse, if such places exist at all, time might run backward. There may be realities where futures are remembered and past are guessed. But let's stay closer to home. Let's return to your memories. You remember your childhood. Moments like still photographs. Some sharp, some soft, some looping like music. But where do those memories live? Not in the past, not in space. They live now, inside you, formed from patterns of neurons, from chemical trails in your brain. Memory is how your body writes time. In dreams, they blur that writing. In dreams, time loops. Seconds melt. You leap from place to place, decade to decade, and wake with no clear map. This is the softness of time, when freed from the outside world, when time is not demanded by alarms or calendars, but allowed to stretch. You may have already felt time reverse in memory. You hear an old song, and suddenly you're there again. A child, a friend, a room with yellow light. Your body didn't move backward, but something inside you did. So perhaps time's direction isn't absolute. Perhaps it's more like a story out. Read from left to right. Even though all the words are already on the page, you just haven't turned them yet. And now, lying still, you begin to feel how soft the borders of past and future truly are. Think of a moment, not just what happened, but how it felt. A smile, a goodbye, a moment of awe beneath the stars. Now ask, does that moment still exist? Or does it live on through you? Some physicists believe that time doesn't pass at all, that all moments exist simultaneously, that we simply experience them, one frame at a time, like flicking through the pages of a flipbook. In this view, you do not move through time. You are time, each version of you, frozen in place, waiting for awareness to light it up. So maybe the arrow is not real, or maybe it is, but only in one direction, the direction your mind remembers. And yet, this doesn't make time less beautiful. It makes it more so, because even if the arrow is gentle, even if it bends, even if it might one day reverse, your presence here and now is what gives it meaning. You are the one who watches the river. You are the one who feels the flow. Time may bend, stretch, pause, but it always flows through you. So now, dear dreamer, you might be wondering softly if the future is not fixed, but all moments might already exist. What happens when we look ahead? Can we glimpse time before it happens? Or are we just remembering the future in reverse? That, dreamer, is the mystery we'll float into next. You lie still. The night is quiet. Your breath is the only sound that matters now. And all around you, time is not marching, but resting. Imagine this. The past, the present, the future. They are not lined up ahead of you, like footsteps in the snow. They are all here, all at once. Moments are not waiting to happen. They already are. The universe, in its deepest silence, may be more like a tapestry than a journey, woven all at once, each thread a different now. This idea has a name in physics, the block universe. It suggests that time doesn't flow. Instead, all events, past, present, and future, exist together, like a sculpture with many sides, each visible depending on your angle. You aren't a traveler through time. You are a traveler within it, moving frame by frame, carrying a flickering light called awareness. That light illuminates one moment at a time, but the whole story is already written. It feels strange, doesn't it? Because you've always thought of time like a path, and the future as something that hasn't arrived yet. But what if it has? What if the version of you who will wake tomorrow, the version who will laugh next week, the version who will hold a loved one 10 years from now, already exists? They are not fiction. They are just hidden. From now, like stars behind the clouds, they shine, even if you cannot see them. And this brings us to something deeply human. Intuition. Those moments when you feel something before it happens. A sense, a shimmer, a déjà vu. Maybe it's not magic. Maybe it's your mind brushing up against a future version of yourself. Maybe your awareness caught a flicker of a page ahead. After all, memory is not just a tool for looking back. It may also be a lantern that can shine forward. We usually think of memory as storage, but some scientists and philosophers believe memory is more like a bridge, a connection across different selves, across different frames of the timeline. And if you can look backward across that bridge, who's to say you can't feel a whisper from the other direction? Now let's pause and breathe. Imagine your life as a vast library. Each chapter of your life is already written, not in ink, but in possibility. Your present is just the page you're reading now. You can't feel the next chapter yet, but it's there, resting quietly beneath your fingertips. And one day, you'll turn that page. You'll enter a moment that already exists, not because you controlled it, but because you lived into it. And here's something comforting. Even if the future is written, you are still the one who feels it, who loves in it, who hopes, chooses, and heals. And maybe that's what matters most. You are not trapped in fate. You are touched by time. You are the softness within a structure, the warmth within a pattern. You are not reading your life. You are breathing it. So what does this mean as you lie here, wondering about tomorrow? It means the future is not far away. It is folded within you. Your cells, your memories, your dreams. They all carry directions, not just from the past, but toward the future. You are a living compass. You don't chase the future. You become it. Every decision you make, every word you speak, every silence you honor, is a movement in that tapestry, a thread joining one moment to the next. And what if, just for tonight, you believe that the best parts of your life have already happened and have yet to arrive? That joy is not something you wait for, but something that already sits inside you, gently unfolding. You are not behind the future. You are beside it, always. And now, as your thoughts grow slower and your breath draws longer, you begin to feel it. You are not waiting for time to come. You are resting in time as it is. A whole, soft, woven thing. All the versions of you, the child, the elder, the curious soul looking at the stars. They are one thread, moving together, not toward the end, but toward greater and greater unfolding. The future isn't a finish line. It's a flowering. And in the silence, you hear a final whisper. If all time exists together, then maybe you've already arrived at every place you long to go. Now sleep, traveler. The future is not ahead. It is already within you. And so, dear dreamer, you've traveled far tonight, across clocks and galaxies, through black holes in memory, past entropy and light. You've wandered where time folds, where seconds stretch, and where futures quietly wait to be noticed. Not because you were searching, but because you were still. And in that stillness, time revealed itself not as a ruler, but as a rhythm, not as a line, but as a lullaby. The future isn't something you chase. It's something you carry. Each breath you take is a soft unfolding of everything already written and still waiting to be lived. You are not behind the universe. You are not ahead of it. You are right inside its pulse, a steady heartbeat in the fabric of time. So now, let your mind rest. Let your body soften. Let the lights of all your possible tomorrows glow quietly inside you. Because whether time moves or stands still, you are already exactly where you belong. Thank you for dreaming with us. This has been the Bedtime Sleep, where science whispers and time waits for no one except you. Don't forget to subscribe for more poetic sleep journeys and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your questions, your dreams, your wonders. New stories arrive every night, and somewhere within them, your next journey is already beginning. Good night. Sleep well. Time is with you.